And the spirit of Ultimate Warrior will run forever!
Kyle here, and it is Sunday, and you know what that means? It's time for weekly purchases, that time of the week where we investigate what came through the door via UPS, Amazon, United States Postal Service, DHL, FedEx, and of course that old outlaw, that cagey outlaw, Waylon Jennings. And FedEx issues not getting a whole lot better this week, but at least I did get some of those packages that were delayed last week, so the little victories in life. But a very, very busy week this week, of course. Good friend of the channel, Jeff George, flew in from Detroit, Michigan, flew in like a hurricane on Tuesday morning, hit stores. We'll have a toy hunt video next week sometime. Check that out. And then we were living the life, and some may say we were living La Vida Loca, like a young Ricky Martin and possibly John 5 as well, as we did go to the fair. So we had that fair fever as well. So we spent 2 days at the fair, big, massive fair, of course, here in the Midwest. So I had to go to that, went all around, grabbed a lobster roll, these absolutely wild lobster rolls. And Jeff George, a bit of a lobster roll connoisseur, he said one of the greatest lobster rolls he's ever had in his life. They were flying it in every single morning for this lobster. Absolutely wild, of course. 2 foot of lobster roll. Who couldn't eat all that? Who couldn't eat all that? Even that guy that grabbed in the picture with us, he was loving that lobster roll life. And of course, had some crazy lady come up to me. It was just a wild time at the fair. There was a lot going on at that Iowa State Fair, but we were in town, or Jeff was in town specifically. Of course, Motley Crue was performing, and unfortunately for the Motley Crue, Motley Crue in the audience and on the stage, huge thunderstorm, lightning storm, whatever you want to call it, came through the area. They had to cut 7 songs out of the set. Oh my gosh, people were just flipping out. They were mad about that. And you can imagine, if you paid your hard-earned money to get into that show, they cut 7 songs out. That is pretty rough. They said they should have went on early. You can't really go on early because the ticket says, 8 o'clock show or whatever. You can't just go on at 6 o'clock, though people that'll miss it, they'll be mad about that. You really can't win either way. Pop Evil opened up for them. Not evil enough for me. Watched a little bit of that from the side of the stage to see what this Pop Evil was all about, and it wasn't about me. But they did have an Ultimate Warrior on their set list stand, so that was pretty cool. They're Warrior guys, so I was okay with that. But it was cool to see the show, but I wish they could have just cut Pop Evil down or cut them out, and I guess they probably cut a few from them. But it was just a bit of a mess, so a lot of people were pretty upset that they didn't feel like they got a full Motley Crue show. And like I said, if you spent your hard-earned money, you traveled in, it is a big fair, people came from all over, that is pretty rough. But you can't fight Mother Nature. And if I was Tommy Lee, he came out to talk kind of at the end, I would have said, hey, we'd like to still play, but the fair says, hey, lightning's coming, we got to get off the stage. That's probably what I would have done, but who am I? Who am I at the end of the day? I don't know, but I did have a good time at the Motley Crue show. Thanks to Jeff George and John 5 for the invite and getting to hang out and all that kind of stuff. Always good. Of course, you remember Jeff took me out there to California earlier this year. We actually hung out with John 5 there as well. So pretty cool to see all that kind of stuff. Actually had lunch with Jeff and John 5 the day of the concert. That was a lot of fun hanging out with them, seeing what was going on. But yeah, the day of the concert, we were hanging out, eating lunch, having some good talk out there about bands we like and bands we don't like. And I was throwing Bob Seger under the bus. I was throwing Def Leppard under the bus. You know me. Had to do all that kind of stuff. And then grabbed the waitress and said, what do you think? What do you think about Bob Seger? And what do you think about Def Leppard? You know what that waitress said? Yeah, not for me. I agree with this guy. And of course they do. And I looked at John and Jeff. I said, I know what I'm talking about here. I know what I'm talking about. So that was pretty funny to do, of course. Talked a little action figure game. You never know what might come out of that as well. So a lot of fun stuff there with John 5. And actually, we did get a picture, I'm told. Mark Summers, or Todd. Oh, it was Mark Summers. I missed who was talking. You have a picture of actually Jeff, John 5, and I at lunch? Okay, let's see that picture. Yeah, that's pretty spot on. That looks like the picture from lunch. There was me at the end, of course, and Jeff George right in the middle. Just holding court in the middle there. It was a wild time at that lunch, that's for sure. Camera's not so good at the lunch. It's a little dark there. It was a nice, dimly lit place. But a great lunch with John Five and Jeff George, and a good show. Good to hang out. Good to see him. Good time at the fair. Just a very good week. A lot of Uno was played with the kids, of course. We went out to dinner with my parents. We had fun with that with the wife and kids. Angie was there for the whole thing. Mom and everybody, helping everybody around, getting everybody around the place. So a good week this week. More on that. We'll have videos on the channel. Probably get some of that footage up maybe by the end of the weekend here over for Patreon members. Maybe the end of next week for everybody else. But check out those videos. But shout out to Jeff George. Shout out to John Five. Shout out to Motley Crue for showing us a good time, all that kind of fun stuff. So a wild, wild week. But the week gets wilder. Could it get any wilder? I guess it did. It's like a young Gene Wilder is what it is. We did have some episodes of podcasts this week finally dropping. I filmed these a couple of weeks ago, months ago, in some instances here. Collectibles.com. Type that into your browser or check out their YouTube channel for the video. I did do an interview with them about my collection, a little bit about the book, how I got into collecting. Collectibles.com. So it's just starting out, brand new thing. Check out the podcast over there or video cast. Also did Your Childhood Was Trash. I did that podcast as well. Your childhood was trash if you didn't collect the Jakks Classic Superstars. That was kind of the way it went. But of course, talking about the book there, talking about some of that, talking about my collecting over there on that podcast as well. So some good times on a couple of different podcasts, video casts this week. Talking Classic Superstars and everything else under the sun. Possibly might see a Classic Superstars Kindle version of the book here in the future. So some of you guys wanted the Kindle. I said, you got to get the regular book out there for everybody first. Nothing worse than putting a Kindle. Somebody screenshots everything, sends it out to everybody. Hey, I'm only making $4 a book on these things. Let me get my $12.50. Let me get my $12.50 after taxes. Who knows? But a Kindle version coming maybe sooner rather than later. More on that, of course, when that does come. But a lot going on this week, as you can imagine. Just thing after thing. It is summertime. Kids start school the next Friday, this upcoming Friday, I guess. So going to get back in the school swing of things. Just busy, busy times. That's the way it is. That's the way it is. And fall is going to be here before you know it. I saw at the old grocery store, they said pumpkin spice, Starbucks is coming back. Never tried a Starbucks drink. Not going to start now, but man, I know some people out there, my wife and kids included, excited about this pumpkin spice stuff. I'm not ready for it. I'm not ready for it yet. I am ready for the Scarecrow mix, though, at Target. Shout out to Scarecrow mix. I'm here for some of that. So there it is. That's kind of the week that was. A lot going on this week. As I said, more on that in future videos. I did get a big IKEA delivery this week, or I should say today as I'm filming this. I got a new video coming eventually, maybe. We'll see what happens. As I've done a lot of collector's tours of my collection. I've never done my music and horror collection video of that kind of spot of the house. Maybe I'll finally do that video, so we'll see what ends up happening there. More to come, more to come. But of course, next thing to come is the question of the week. All right, time for question of the week. And if you want to be the question of the week, put your question in the comments of this very video, and you too could be the question of the week. But this week is an extremely timely question, as I just dealt with a bunch of this last weekend as I was moving and cleaning and reorganizing some stuff. I actually handled this, so I figured, you know what? There's some kind of fate going on right here. I'm going to answer this. And this one comes from My Way to Mars. And of course, that is Mick Mars, if I'm not mistaken, bringing it back to Motley Crue. Mick Mars basically retired at this point. Didn't have a solo album. It was okay. Now he's asking questions over here on YouTube. I'm just assuming. But My Way to Mars says, question of the week, what about the boxes? I found myself not wanting to get rid of the boxes until my apartment was a mess with all the boxes piling up here and there. I forced myself to throw them away, but I still would like to keep many of them because even if I want to give away some of the toys later on, it is so much cooler to give them away in boxes. Anyways, these are the kind of existential questions one needs to resolve. What do you do with yours? Do you even save any? So that is a great question right there. You guys know me. At heart, I am a mint-on-card collector. Yes, it's true. I would be mint-on-card if I wanted to, but then you only got so much space, and I'm first to admit I got more space than the average Joe or Jane. Don't forget about the Janes out there. I only got so much room just like everybody else, and if I had everything mint on card, I would have been years ago way out of space. And I still got space now. It's getting tighter and tighter every day, as you can imagine. Not a lot goes out, but a lot comes in. That's the way it goes around here. But boxes is something I throw away most of the boxes. You guys see it. I give the old see you later. It's gone forever. But occasionally in the reviews, you say, oh, saving that box, keeping that box. and that's what I do. So I do definitely save some boxes. And the other day I was going around and I saw all these boxes. Now, I have a big attic and I have some fancier boxes, like some statue boxes, some boxes that you really, really need to keep. I got some of those stored away, but I was also storing up here. So you guys see the Detolfs behind me. Of course, there's a top of those Detolf. I have figures on the front, mint on card, but behind that, there's like this much room all the way around. I store a lot of boxes I like back in there. And I was doing a little cleaning, a little rearranging up there, and I saw these boxes. And primarily up here, it was all NECA, Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtle cartoon boxes. I said, why am I holding on to all these? But My Way to Mars, shout out to McMars, you know, I get it. I'm the same thing. I'm like, well, if I want to sell this one day, it'll probably get me extra money if I put it back in that box. And let's be honest, here's the simple answer on that. I came to that conclusion long ago, and then I started saving them again. Now I'm back to that conclusion, and it's sticking this time. It's sticking. Boxes are great. If you got a passion for it, you want to keep them, that is great. Throw your boxes away. Get it out of here. If you're a loose collector, get it out of here, because guess what? It's loose. It's not in the package. Yes, the packaging's there, but it's not going to hold the value of a mint on card. You want mint on card. If you're a collector going to eBay, you want mint on card. You don't want something to put back in the box. Yes, you can save a couple of dollars, but on the back end, My Way to Mars, me, whoever, you're not going to make as much money because it was already out of the box one time. Think about the space that is taking it up. Think about the fret it's given. You were talking about your apartment here, sticking around, looking at it all the time. What am I going to do with these boxes? What am I going to do? You're asking yourself that every single day if you're like me. What am I doing with these? Where is this going? You can take all that pressure away, get rid of all that. And I filled up about a dumpster full of packaging. Gotta say, it was Super 7 stuff, and the NECA Turtle stuff was the majority of it. I had like my G.I. Joe Super 7 boxes, and those things are still very cheap. I'm like, why am I holding on to these boxes? I don't need it. I threw away my Super 7 New Japan Pro Wrestling boxes. I had all those. Thankfully, I dropped one on accident, and I said, wait a minute, there's something in here. I forgot I left all the heads and accessories I didn't use on the display in the packaging. So that would have been a dangerous one, throwing away all that stuff. But I cleared up so much room up there where I could store other stuff. If I got doubles of something, if I want to put something up there, I got extra room now. So I got extra space in my house, and these boxes aren't taking up all this space. And that's what it was. It was just a bunch of space being taken up. And there is, what do you get out of saving a Mouser box for 15 years? You finally sell it. It's sat up here, taking up real estate for 15 years, and you made an extra $1. Is that worth it? Is that space worth it? I don't think it is. At least it's not in my honest opinion there. So me, boxes are gone. From now on, everything's gone except the chosen few, like a young Highlander. There can only be one, maybe. Who knows? Some boxes that are very special. Some of those San Diego Comic-Con releases. The new Cobra Commander, for instance. I wanted to save that. That's a cool piece to me. Save something like that. There's a few things I'm going to save, but 99.9%, get it out of here. Get it out of here. It is gone. Lighten up the space. Lighten up everything. That's the way to go. Boxes are cool, especially if you're a mint on card guy, but if you're not mint on card guy, most of the stuff, you're just holding trash around your house. And that's my final verdict, like a young Judge Wapner, young Judge Joe Brown, or maybe even a Judge Jerry Springer. Who knows? But that is the question of the week. If you want to be the question of the week, put it in the comments down below, and you too could be the question of the week. But now we got to get down to it. Let's get down to the weekly purchases. All right, time for round number 1 of weekly purchases. A very big early part of the week this week with a lot of stuff coming through the door on Monday. Got to give a special shout out to DJC Collectibles. Use discount code 8OFFDJC. Did get a lot of stuff from them, so we're going to see a little of that in round number 1. But first, before we dive into it, got to give a special shout out to Brad Walker, friend of the channel here. He did publish his own comic book, and he sent me a couple of copies to have. So always cool whenever anybody takes that next step, does something like this, makes a book, starts a YouTube channel, whatever you got to do out of there, whatever you got a passion for, make sure you're doing it. Just don't sit on the couch and not do anything. Everybody's got a passion. You got to dive into it. Brad Walker put a comic book together, sent me a copy, so special thank you to you. Hundusa.com. It is, of course, Hundusa. It's too late to look away, so I will read this. I will check this out. Do appreciate him sending me that this week. So shout out to Brad Walker out there. But we're not done. Let's dive in. Let's dive in with a little DJC collectible stuff. We got the Sarge, the Mad Marauder Sergeant Slaughter. Look at that. No campaign hat on this one. Of course, the rarer version. But like a psycho, I'm going to unbox this one. But there it is, Sergeant Slaughter, looking good this week. How about we let there be some carnage? We got Venom. Of course, we unboxed Carnage on the channel not too long ago. Now we got Venom through the door. And one I was immediately going to pass on, and then it won me over because it's crazy enough, and this is the kind of stuff I love in action figures. Werewolf by Night, Man-Thing. And of course, I got the old version as well, so we can compare the two. But through the door this week via DJC Collectibles. As I throw stuff around, watch out. It's a dangerous time on the channel from time to time. There it is. Surprised that doesn't happen more often. But we got that through the door this week. I guess I'll finish off the DJC collectible stuff. I might as well do that first. I did get the Platinum Edition of Agent Liberty via DJC Collectibles. Of course, we unboxed the regular one on the channel. Check out that unboxing if you did miss that. And speaking of that one, I got it right here. Gosh, I'm all hands today. I got the regular edition. I got another one. I did use that McFarlane. Oh, Todd on the couch. That EQL, Run Fair, whatever it's called. I always just do it just to do it. And I won this. So I didn't have to wait 20 minutes in line, of course, at Comic-Con. I could have just got it offline. But now I got an extra one of these. Probably figured something out to do with it. Who knows? Who knows? We got that through the door. Also got a little Platinum Editions through the door at DJC Collectibles. Got the red hood. Not a lot of differences with this one. We got the red hood through the door this week. Also got the Clock King Platinum Edition. So it's the latest and greatest ones, but they're platinum counterparts. So I got that there. Also got the Ragman. Oh, a man made of rags. How about that? Black edition, where the other one was green, if you remember that. Got two more from DJC Collectibles I'm very, very excited about. Possibly could be a top 10 figure of the year for me. Of course, it is Adam West Batman. How cool is this? I love that old school series. When I was a very little kid, watching reruns of this, always loved Batman Adam West. Very cool to get it in this scale from McFarlane Toys. And what's better than one? Well, it's getting the Platinum Edition. Getting the Platinum Edition Adam West as well. Black and white. Very interesting, but very fun to get those through the door. And the final piece for round number one via DJC Collectibles, it's a heavy one. It's the Cobra Stinger and Driver G.I. Joe Classified series. Got to get the most out of your molds. We know how they do it over there, of course, at G.I. Joe, Hasbro, whatever you want to call it. But we got the Stinger through the door. And I'm not done with round number one. I forgot I got some more stuff over here. Via Super 7, I pre-ordered this at San Diego Comic-Con. Finally came through the mail. Ghost Groon from the Thundercats line. So Groon through the door. And then possibly the most controversial figure of all time. I don't know if I go that far, but a year and a half, 2 years, 10 years, what is time? I don't know. Finally through the door via Rush Collectibles, the French Angel, Maurice Tillet. Of course, I have a lot to talk about with this figure, some history with Maurice in a little way, a roundabout way. So we'll unbox this on the channel. We'll see how it goes. Constant learning, constant improvement. Will we see improvements from round one when we unbox the ones on the channel? We'll see what happens with old Maurice right here. But of course, the French Angel through the door. So now that is round number one of weekly purchases. All right, time for another round of weekly purchases. Of course, this is future Kyle coming back to you here. Of course, round number one was a little bit earlier in the week. This is stuff that came later this week, as I needed to get through that to move that off, get that out of the way. Busy, busy week this week. But this round of weekly purchases brought to you by Big Bad Toy Store. Hit up the link in the description down below. Got all this stuff. Finally did ship my pile of loot this week. That's one of the cool things about Big Bad Toy Store, as we do know. But this was my pile of loot that I just shipped off. And I did get some extreme sets. I almost forgot I ordered this. Supreme ring mats. So it's different ring mats for a real scale arena. Getting dangerously close to thinking about setting my real scale arena back up. So we'll see. Early viewers of the channel remember my old arena I had set up. Also got a backroom locker room. So I said, oh, what the heck? I'm going to check out this locker room as well. This stuff was on sale at Big Bad Toy Store as well. So like I said, link in the description below. Save that link. Support the channel when you purchase at Big Bad Toy Store. So I got two extreme sets through the door this week. But we weren't done at Big Bad Toy Store. Got a little Valaverse. Got a little Action Force. I got the Steel Brigade Arctic Edition Big Bad Toy Store exclusive. Grabbed this over there this week. Also grabbed another Street Shark. Living that Street Shark life. Did get this one. Jab is his name. Now, I'm not in on these Street Sharks. However, I did unbox Ripster on the channel. Got him at San Diego Comic-Con. I said, we need at least one more. I need two on a shelf together. Can't just have one. Need two. Picked up the Hammerhead one. I said, I want the wild-looking shark. Got the Hammerhead shark, of course. How about a little Mythic Legion? Should we play that game? Can Kyle pronounce it? Exlernian Guard. Exlernian? Yeah, sure, why not? Got him, of course, through the door. Two heads, choose your own guard adventure right there if you want to. Living that Legion life. Also got another Legion here. Lady Averona. Oh, one of the finest ladies. My Fair Lady, Averona right here, Mythic Legion. The Legions continue, got a massive stack of Mythic and Cosmic Legions right over there above Todd McFarlane's head on the couch. Todd, be careful. Don't let that stuff fall over on you. Got to unbox all those one of these days. We'll get to it. We'll get to it. But the hits keep on coming like a young Mike Nesmith. Mars Attacks. You guys know I was blown away. I really enjoyed the battle damaged one. Saw this was in stock at Big Bad Toy Store, the regular version. I said, you know what? I'm picking this one up. Always enjoyed the Mars Attack movie. Home of Kyle's first date as a little kid. Yes, of course. Wheeling and dealing, kiss stealing like a young Ric Flair back in the day. But I did get this Mars Attack there to go with the other Mars Attack. Check out that video on the channel if you did miss it. Got a Marvel Legends 2-pack, of course, Fantastic Four edition, Spider-Man and Wolverine. Very cool. I'm a Wolverine guy. I'm enough of a Spidey guy. So cool to get those two there to go with Franklin, Richards, of course, the Richards family. Now we can put them in there. The new Fantastic Four, as some know them as. Completing off the latest Super 7 Ultimate Turtle Wave, I got Karai. Got old Karai right here, so we'll unbox her on the channel. Maybe this Turtle Tuesday. Still got to get Tatsu out there. So Tatsu coming to the channel eventually. Speaking of Big Bad Toy Store, like I said, all these things in this section of the video came from Big Bad Toy Store. I did get the brother. Now I got the last one, Thales. Now I got Quesos. I love him, especially with a side of chips. We got Queso right here looking good. A bull and a minotaur. What more could anybody want? Big brooding figure. Can go with your Mythic Legions, go with your Legends, whatever. An amazing one. Can't wait to dive into that one on the channel. Stay tuned in the future for that. And it looks like I got one last thing from Big Bad Toy Store. And this is something I pre-ordered like a year and a half ago, it felt like. Maybe a year. Let's call it a year. But it is Papa from Ghost from Trick or Treat Studios, 1/6 edition of course, Papa right there. So this will be interesting. Gonna mix this one in with my Mondos, I guess is what I'll do. Maybe I'll stick him next to the Hot Toy Lando Calrissian that old Lando Merritt hooked me up with a year or so ago. So we'll see what happens there. But a very, very cool one here is that Papa. And that's the little Big Bad Toy Store portion of weekly purchases. All right, like a young Fred Durst, we keep rolling forever. And running hard, running fast, running free like a young Rio with the Jazwares Vault. Jazwares sent me a package this week, a little thing to show off and talk about, and that's what we're going to do right here. Of course, August 28th is going to be a big day at the old Jazwares Vault, as they will be dropping a lot of Halo figures. And we don't really talk a lot of Halo on this channel. However, there's going to be a massive Halo drop. So if you're into Halo, or you're like me that just played Halo 1 on the original Xbox, you may be into these. But I did get quite the Halo care package this week of all these Halo Vault releases. And there is a lot going on with these ones here. So a lot of different Halo stuff coming to the Jazwares Vault. A lot of it available right now on the Jazwares Vault as far as Halo goes. But I'm ready to start a Halo collection. I think I got a good enough start right here with all this Halo stuff. I'm ready to start that collection, it looks like right now. But Halo after Halo after Halo this week via Jazwares and the Vault. And remember, 28th of August will be the next Halo drop. Check it out over the Jazwares Vault. And we got one round left. One round of weekly purchases. Let's get into it. All right, deep into the championship rounds. This is where we separate the men, of course, from the boys. But we're diving in, and we're diving in with a lot of wrestling to finish off weekly purchases. Through the door from Figure Collections, I picked up this version. There was two versions. I went with this one. Didn't really matter since I was opening them. But it is, of course, the third man in the ring, Mike Chioda, referee to the Stars back in the day. We probably remember Mike Chioda if you're a longtime wrestling fan. Got that one through the door. Completed Series 112 with the Becky Lynch Chase Edition via our friends at Ringside Collectibles. Use discount code Kyle. Save yourself 10%. Did also pick up this one, so I did have to pick up a second one. I picked this up from Ringside. It is the Ultimate Warrior from the Vault Series 1. Had to get a minute card one. I forgot about this back in the day. I said, well, next time I do an order, I'm going to throw that in. I ordered that Becky Lynch, got the Warrior with it. So Warrior finally complete again. Failed, dramatically failed. You guys might have seen the short and the reel, all that kind of stuff on my social medias. But unfortunately, I did not win this time. In that game that's sweeping the nation, did Kyle get the chase or not? I did get Stevie Ray, Monday Night Wars, Harlem Heat. Of course, I need the blue Stevie Ray. Missed out on that one. Got the regular. Probably just going to return that back to Walmart is what I'm going to do right there. I did start finding some of these ones greatest hit legends at Target. Man, my area usually isn't first, but it's pretty close. Usually about a week behind. Looks like I'm going to be 2 or 3 weeks behind right now, as my stores just aren't hitting like they normally do on some of this McFarlane stuff, Todd. Some of these other figures, including wrestling, been a bit slow in my area, but I did see IRS this week. So got IRS through the door, and got my dad's favorite wrestler of all time. Got the Warlord, so got re-releases of those two. Still got to find King Booker. Still got to find Warrior. Still got to find Tugboat. I'll find them. Need 2 Warriors, as you guys do know. I will find them, though. I always do. I always do. I also found this week, every single Target in my town got these at the exact same time, which was interesting. It is Kofi Kingston as Michelangelo. Target exclusive right here. Shredder, Roman Reigns. Looking good right there. And then I did get Donatello, Xavier Woods. So hitting your Target stores right now. We'll unbox these on the channel. Stay tuned for that. Some fun ones there. And finally, only 2 things left today. I did get these once again going over to the vault at Jazwares. Ordered these from the show floor at San Diego Comic-Con. There's my mint on card one. I don't know why I ordered 2. Maybe we'll give this a one way next month. We'll see what happens. But it is the Briscoe brothers, Mark and Jay Briscoe, Ring of Honor, AEW, Jazwares, whatever you want to call it. Through the door this week. Did pick this one up. Whoa, 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 stop the clock. Almost forgot. I got a couple of Lucy's that I actually got in this week as well, but I couldn't wait to get these out of the package, so I already unboxed them. It is the Batman Forever McFarlane toys from the couch line. Of course, you got Robin. You got the old Riddler, keeping us all guessing, of course, is the old Riddler. Tommy Lee Jones, Two-Face, you got to have him. You got the big Build-A-Figure Nightmare Bat going on, and Batman around here somewhere as well. There he is, old Batman. Batman Forever, McFarlane Toys, Build-A-Figure Wave. Very excited to see the Briscoe brothers in action figure form. Haven't looked at mine yet. I know some people have had some quality issues with theirs in different aspects. Hopefully I don't have any of that. Hopefully they're just for those people and not for me. But we've seen, I've had quite a few times with Jazwares over the last couple of years, especially in the staining department. So hopefully I don't have staining. Hopefully I don't have these issues. I guess we'll find out this week on the channel. So stay tuned. But there it is. That is weekly purchases this week. Like I said, a very, very busy week in a lot of ways. Shout out to John 5. Shout out to Jeff George. More importantly there for a fun week. A long week for sure. I need a nap. But a fun week. And then, of course, a fun week of figure hunting this week as well. So a lot going on as we near the end of summer, unfortunately. But another weekly purchase is in the bag. What did you pick up this week? What were your weekly purchases? Let me know in the comments down below. You made it this far. Don't forget to like the video. Don't forget to subscribe to the channel. Turn on the old notification bell. We got videos every single day. And then some. We got even more content for you, of course, over there on Patreon. Patreon, the best way to support this YouTube channel and all the content it does bring. Appreciate the support over there. A lot of stuff going on. Got 2 giveaways this month. I got them right over here. I don't think I mentioned it at the top. Novun Lean, of course, Cosmic Legions is the traditional Patreon giveaway this month. Anybody that signs up for the Patreon can be entered to win the Britt Baker. So check that out, of course, if you want to support the channel over on the old Patreon. Appreciate the support. PrestonTees.com, search Kyle Peterson. The complete guide to the Jakks Classic Superstars series available on Amazon and Barnes & Noble. Check that one out if you haven't already. And hit me up on social media, SirPaul64 on the X, the _Kyle_Peterson on Threads, and on Instagram. So you know what I'm doing? I'm rocking and rolling, strutting and strolling my way into another work week.